Welcome, one and all, to a premium spirits discovery. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, joined by my indomitable broadcast partners in inebriation. The one, the only...
Chicken.
And...
Tony fucking G, like, share, subscribe.
We are here to find out what is the best rye whiskey of all the general categories. We've got a pretty good cross-section here, folks.
It's a lot.
And so we have 10 rye whiskeys. Ones you've probably heard of. Maybe a few you haven't. And we are going to decide which one is the best. And it's going to be done through a blind flight. This man here and this man here will have no knowledge as to which whiskey they are drinking. I have labeled them, and I'm going to keep track of which one is what here. And these two fine gentlemen will help us decide the finest rye whiskey ever. So folks, this is a journey we are all going to come on, and by the time it's over, you might just find a rye whiskey that you enjoy yourself. So, gentlemen, if you'd be so kind as to vacate the premise for a moment while I do the great pouring of the whiskeys. So,
All right.
thank you, gentlemen. Thank you,
Let's
sir.
do it.
Thank you, sir. And I will let you know when the time has come. You'll get a very, very super scientific signal. Hey! That you know, very, very scientific. So, well, come on, get both of y'all out of here. Yeah, you crazy kids. Get on out of here. Get out of view. Go over there. Go over there. All right, folks. So, we're going to get started here. I will catch you on the flip side. Just like that, almost as if it were like magic, folks. Welcome back. This is the blind flight of rye whiskeys, A through J. Now, folks, if you're following along at home, as we're going through them, along the bottom of your screen, we'll post what we're drinking here. So, gentlemen, this is one I've been looking forward to getting into for a very long time. Before we do, just a brief history of rye whiskey. Rye whiskey was the whiskey that was the most popular in North America before the Civil War, because there were so many rye farmers up in the Northeast, and that's how it was able to just get the momentum of the market. People just generally drank. Bourbon didn't come into vogue until after the Civil War, and it really didn't come into vogue until after Prohibition. So it was usually rye was the whiskey of the day. In fact, President McKinley, his favorite whiskey was rye whiskey. So this is kind of an exploration into the past of American history, because the story of distillation and whiskey making is the story of farming. So farmers in the Northeast were making rye, they had rye whiskey. Farmers down south were making corn, they had bourbon. So this is a way for us to explore our past, connect with our past, and maybe even connect with some of your futures. Because I got a feeling by the time this is done, we're all going to know which rye whiskey we like. So,
Fair.
without further ado, gentlemen,
All right.
A, the mystery whiskey.
Okay.
First,
Is that in the middle for tea? or-
no, I put it so it's the
Making
same.
sure we get the red one.
Yeah, we got to
Yep.
do the same one.
Okay, make sure on the bottom it says A there, gentlemen.
Indeed.
Yes, it does. Smells
Ooh.
strong.
Oh,
Almost smells like a medical
I say it
chemical.
it doesn't smell like rye.
I was about to say this would have made me think a bit more bourbon at
Oh,
first,
yeah,
but,
that
but
was
like
my
a weak
thought.
one, like,
Sugary. A little sugary.
but yeah, like there is that medicinal,
Yeah.
industrial.
Yeah. But not bad. Good smell. Yeah, it definitely does not smell like
Well,
rye.
folks, let's see how it hits
Without further
the
ado.
palate.
Mm.
Hot cinnamon.
Yeah, I was thinking like a hot tamale. But goodness. It only hits like a rye on the backside. Yeah, no, that does not finish like a rye that I'm used to. Just a little bit.
So, folks, rye whiskey, letter A.
I know I get the cinnamon. I don't know if I get the hot tamale or
It's a little much.
I get the little fizz like cinnamon gives, but I
Yeah.
don't get the flavor of cinnamon.
No,
So it smells real strong.
It
really-
does.
When you nose it, you're like, whoa, this is
Yes.
gonna be harsh, but it's not that harsh.
No,
No.
It smells harsher than it tastes, for
Oh.
sure. And again, the rye flavor is not overwhelming at all.
It's not apparent.
No.
If
it's on the back.
I didn't know this was a rye, I would have a hard time guessing.
I would
Yeah.
guess, if I had to guess, I would guess bourbon initially. With
Yep,
this,
yep. So,
until that finish.
all right, that's our first initial.
Okay.
Any notes you want to take away from that? Is this one you
I,
like?
I
Is this-
agree with you. I like this. I would
Yeah,
definitely.
that's something I could definitely sip on.
I would definitely pick this up if I was looking for a rye.
Yeah,
For
All
good
sure.
right.
start. Good start.
Now, let's get a quick little palate cleanse of the palate, folks.
Cleansing of the palate to get rid of the taste of the last one.
Because this is science. We're not just drinking for fun here, folks. This is for science. These are the sacrifices we make for you. Not all heroes wear capes,
That's true.
okay? So, moving on to B. B Rye Whiskey.
Rye. Ooh,
Ooh, very-
definitely smells.
Oh, I like that.
Very soft nose.
Soft nose, but there's a note there.
There's a floral
I
note
was
to
thinking
it. Like,
flowery.
this
yes.
is not, like, I wouldn't be thinking rye grain at
No,
all with this.
I'm smelling Scotch like notes
Yeah,
here.
Scotch notes.
Mm.
Normally,
If you blended a rye and
yes
Scotch,
and no. Yes and no. Okay, yes, that I'll give you.
Yeah, that's what I'm smelling.
Well, down the
it's
hatch,
soft
folks.
though, yeah. That's almost buttery.
That's too smooth.
Buttery and minty on the end.
A little, yeah.
Yep.
I did not expect that.
That's a good rye
That's
there.
a very subtle rye taste.
I like it. I'm liking that rye.
I gotta say that's pretty good.
Hmm.
That's soft. That's soft,
Soft,
on the nose and soft
floral.
on the tongue.
Little after tingle.
There's
Just a
no
little.
alcohol burn. It's just
No,
that minty tingle,
Yeah,
which that's hard to
that's a
achieve.
delightful thing.
That's hard to
Wow.
achieve with any whiskey, let alone a
I would
rye.
say, especially with a rye. Wow.
Excellent, excellent.
that one. That was
Positive marks on B. Now,
Moving on
Jill,
to C.
on to C.
Better
Oh,
cleanse. Better
that's-
cleanse.
You're right. That almost doesn't have a scent.
No,
It's like a slight must to it,
Yeah. Very. Yeah, I would agree.
like a mustiness.
I don't know what to
Okay.
think of that smell.
Yeah, it's not quite
It's not
smoky.
appealing.
I don't know.
It's not quite peaty.
It's not appealing.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
not,
it doesn't-
yeah, it's not my favorite smell.
No, no.
Let's
B
do it.
B definitely had a better smell.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, it smells a little watered down.
Not too bad on the palate though. Smooth.
That's very smooth.
There's not a lot there though.
Bland.
Yeah, it's bland.
It smells watered down. It tastes watered down.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost nothing there.
I'm really interested. I don't know if it's just the craftsmanship of it that makes it go that smooth, but
I'm getting, on the second taste on the back end, just a touch of butteriness and citrus. Maybe I'm reaching there.
I would say you're reaching, but now that you said it, I'm kind of like, it's not really citrus, but there's a citrus adjacentness there.
I can't.
So that's
pinpoint
interesting.
what
I
that
get the
is.
butter definitely.
Yeah, the butter comes
The
through.
buttery
It feels
feel.
like you're like I don't know, just that like greasy almost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, like with a pot still Irish.
Now we move on. Oh yes, we need to cleanse the palate.
Not bad.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
A little bland.
Not bad. I think I like B a little better, but that's just
Yeah, I
me.
would agree.
All right, to D.
To the D.
Tenacious D.
This
Now that-
smells buttery.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that
Smells
smells sweet and
I
delightful.
like that.
A little bit of floral.
Little.
That one's gonna be good.
Yep. Down the
Down
hatch.
Very buttery. Oh, there's some rye. Oh yeah.
You're right. It's buttery with some rye.
That's about it.
You actually know what you're drinking.
Yeah.
I like that.
I would say that's a
got
rye.
Much more lingering rye flavor.
I would say that's an actual rye if I were to.
Yeah.
So far, they've all been really smooth.
Yeah.
But that one, like, I don't know. That one just seemed more pleasant than the others.
Okay. Hey, to each their
Right.
own, folk.
I don't know. That's good. That is good, but it's not overwhelming.
No, but yeah, you're right. It is a delightful rye.
I'm trying to pinpoint one of these, and so far I'm just not. I believe I've only had a couple of these, maybe two or three.
Yeah. So if you're not able to identify it, nobody's going to be grudging.
Yeah.
So now we move on to E, folks.
Okay.
Let me check my cheater card here. All right.
We're halfway through.
We are halfway through
Yeah.
the first.
Ooh, that's rye. Ooh, yeah, that's rye.
God, there's nothing there.
All I'm smelling is a grassy note.
Yeah, let's try it.
Yep.
Slight grassy note, not much there. Smoothness, a bit of butter.
I had to.
A
I know what I
little-
would guess that is.
I like that one. That's got some.
You think you got that
complexity
one
to it.
pegged,
I
T?
think I'll just make a note.
I think that one might be my favorite so far. It's got complexities to it of
It's
a lot of different flavors hit you on that one.
Yeah, the nose is almost not there for
Yeah,
me.
the nose is boring. as
but-
shit,
Because, yeah, it's not like my nose has gone blind. It's just this one's just. But the palate is smooth and enjoyable.
It is.
So,
It's pretty good.
yeah, we're going to have
But
to.
it smells like grassy on the nose to me, and it tastes a little grassy. That's more what I expect out of a rye if I specifically ask for a rye.
Fair enough. So then we move on to F. Make double dog sure. Let me double dog sure.
Ooh.
Okay, there's
Like
some
a honey.
Yeah, there's some honey, but there's definitely some grain, some rye in that
Ooh,
nose.
wait a minute. Yeah, I'm just getting grainy. Very grainy. Wow.
This is the grainiest of all of them that we've.
Easily.
And the palate matches it.
Very. Somehow it's possible to.
Liquid
Oh,
bread.
wow.
It does taste
Oh,
like.
goodness,
Feel like
yes.
you're like biting into liquid bread
Yeah.
almost. I don't know how else to describe it.
That finish is. It just increases.
Yeah.
That rye
It
flavor
lingers.
increases, yeah. Usually it dissipates, but that increases as it sits on your
interesting.
palate.
So going in for another sip. Yeah, you're right. Like the honey's there a little, which is very hard for rye, but I'm mostly just getting the rye, which, God forbid, you actually know what you're drinking when you're drinking it.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
that would. Interesting.
At first, it almost tastes buttery, but
It quickly
That
goes
goes
away
away.
when you feel the tingle.
Yeah.
That tingle lingering.
Let's
It's
Yeah.
still lingering.
Cleanse these
that,
palates.
that
That's
rye
it.
just
That's-
explodes afterwards.
It's not a cinnamon flavor, but it's a cinnamon tingle you get after.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. G.
G unit.
Whiskey G.
Ooh.
That is-
Sugary floral.
Yeah. Sugar.
But robust.
Very. Kind of a hairspray. Buttery.
Oily.
Very oily.
Very. That's like syrupy almost.
It is. And then there comes the rye.
Such-
Dry, grainy rye.
Dry, grainy, and not much mint.
No.
There's like, it feels like it wants to go there. It feels like it's trying to give you that Macallan minty finish, but it doesn't go there. And I dig it. I dig the finish on that.
Not bad though. No, not bad at all. It's very. It's like a. If you're drinking like a sweet red wine and then you take a sip of a dry red.
Yeah. Or like if you're drinking a sweet white and then you switch to a dry red. That's kind of where I'm at. Oh. So we move onward and upward with this rye review, and we move on to H. H. Let me check my cheaters. All right. Whiskey H of the rye lineup.
You said the last one smelled like hairspray. I smell it in this one.
Oh yeah, no, that is absolutely hairspray.
There is a chemical to it.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but
Oh, that's all I get now.
now that it's been mentioned,
No, I would have gotten that anyway. But I mean, I'm not
Right.
even
It's
smelling
thick.
grassy.
let's
Thick. It's like the cheap Schwab hairspray.
yeah, let's see how it.
Thin and rye from the get go. And rye on the finish. Wow, that is through and through.
Dude, there's mint trying to push through there, but
It does give you a bit of a
I can't-
refreshment.
I can't believe it's not mint. Like
Yeah.
it's trying. It's trying. Not too bad of a rye though.
no, that's not bad.
Like it's true to the form of rye. Okay? Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you know what the fuck you're drinking.
Yeah, you definitely know. There's no hiding that one. Like the first couple, it was like, is this really rye? That's 100% rye, no
Alright.
question.
2 left, and then we round this back.
Yep, 2 left. And then we start the grading process and the reveals. So,
Okay,
whiskey I.
I already like this one. Oh wow,
Oh, wow. That is a robust nose.
yeah, not what I expected at all. It's very
There's like
subtle.
there's like a corn sweetness there.
Yeah, no grassy rice smell there. That's a buttery taste. Wow.
That's pretty damn good.
I'm gonna go back to bourbon on that one.
That's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah,
I'm-
that is a pretty good whiskey.
Light, very light, crisp.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the word crisp.
The palate is light, but the nose is robust.
Yeah,
You get the little tingle sensation, but it's not overbearing.
That's not-
It's enough to make sure you know you're still drinking a rye, and you're getting, yeah, no, that's pretty good. And
yeah.
it's
Blind,
smooth.
I wouldn't guess rye.
Yeah, no, neither would I. I would have
It's
guessed a
smooth.
blended,
Yeah.
honestly. So, the last whiskey of the lineup before we start the grades and then the reveals. So, hit the nose, gentlemen.
Oh, very rye, but dry rye.
Dry,
Yeah.
Sweet,
dry.
sweet dry.
Sweet, more dry than sweet, but there is sweet there. Well, down the hatch, gentlemen.
I like that. That's kind of a.
That does have a mint to it.
Yeah, mint.
That's a bit of a blend of floral and grass and oils.
The oil turns me off though.
I like oily depending on the flavor.
It doesn't work with a rye for me. I don't know, man. That's a personal preference. Like
maybe I like my scotches a little sweet and oily, so that's why I'm particular to it. But so, all right, gentlemen, we're gonna start on Jay here, the one we just had, and we are gonna get into our grades.
Okay.
We're gonna grade on 4 scales: as a rye whiskey, as a whiskey. And I think we're right here on this podcast, we're going to change it. We used to call it brown spirits, but I'm going to start going with cask-aged spirits.
Oh.
A little more classy.
Okay.
And the shelving. And then after that has been determined and all has been revealed, we're going to go through and determine each of our personal favorites and then the consensus favorite. So.
All right.
So by the end of this, the 3 of us are going to have to agree on something. I know, yes.
Not asking much.
So yeah,
wash my palate now.
This whole rye whiskey flight had a whole different, plot to it. So, folks, all right,
Going back to
Jay. So. As a rye whiskey, how would you grade this?
I would give that 3.75.
3.75 is a rye. Chicken? I'm going to go last always because I know what they are.
I'm gonna go 3 1/4.
3 1/4 is a rye. I'm just going to let you two go through all of them and then I'll give my scores. As a whiskey.
3.
3.
2.75.
2.75 as a whiskey. As a cask-aged spirit, one that you would cocktail with, one that you would put on ice, one that you'd do whatever with. As a brown spirit, as just kind of a party drink.
It's hard to tell, not knowing what it is, how much you paid for it, but just off of the taste alone, there's some cocktailing you can do with it. I don't think it's a lost cause if it's something you experimented on. You tasted it and you didn't like it straight. I'm sure you can cocktail it and have some fun with it. I'll go 3.
3.
It's not a lost cause.
I typically drink my rye neat, and this is one that I would have to drink neat because ice and water really open it up, and not always in a good way. And I feel that's kind of what this one is. So I'm gonna go 2.5.
2.5. Okay. Shelving.
Middle.
Middle shelf, bottom shelf. All right. And I'll put my glass up here for the big reveal as to what this one is and then give my gradings. The whiskey, and I'll just double check, the whiskey that you guys just graded was WhistlePig 10-year rye. So the 10-year straight rye. As a rye whiskey, I'm going to give it 3.75. As a whiskey, I gotta give it 3. As a brown spirit, I'm gonna have to give it 2.75 because you're not mixing that.
You're about right there with me then.
At best, you're gonna maybe put it on the rocks. Maybe.
Wouldn't even do that.
Maybe.
I'd just go neat.
So, but
neat.
I'll leave that leave a little tiny bit for when we decide our consensus and our personal favorites.
Yep.
So, all right. So that was WhistlePig 10-year rye. So we move on to Whiskey I.
Okay.
Chicken's like, nah, I drank all mine. Fuck you. Okay. This is one we all really enjoyed.
Yeah,
So, as a rye whiskey, how do you rate this?
God, I forgot how good that one was, especially after that last one. It's tenfold better. I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I want to say 4. I'm gonna go 3.75.
You can break it and go like 3.8 if you like. You can break our scales.
No.
Okay.
I don't like breaking things.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm gonna go 4 on that one.
4. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
As a whiskey, how would you grade this one?
3.25.
I get a little bit more credit, probably a 3.5. I think it's hard to distinguish at times.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
Okay. As a cask-aged spirit.
I think that's more like I'm gonna stick with 3 1/4 actually.
3 1/4.
Yeah.
I'll probably stick with the 3.5. I really do love it. Like that's good. Have no idea what it is,
Okay.
what was spent on it, nothing, none of the history of it. Just blind taste test.
That's
Really
what we're
good.
here for.
Super
We're
smooth.
not here to buy into all the marketing, to buy into all the hype, and to believe just because you charge something for that bottle, it's worth what you say. We're here to find out what's actually best. So, shelving for this particular rye.
Middle.
Well, gentlemen, the whiskey that you were both so incredibly impressed by was Pendleton 1910 Rye
Really?
from Pendleton Distillery.
Okay.
And
So
this
12 year?
is, yes, 12-year-old. And Canadians, this rye's mash build, there is a little bit of corn in it, which is why
Okay.
I was kind of throwing out that
That
little.
makes sense.
And that's why it seems so well-rounded.
That makes sense.
So Pendleton Rye was the
Wow.
was the whiskey you guys were quite impressed with. So
Huh.
that shocked me. I figured that one would not be as highly regarded as it was. So we move on to Rye H.
Okay.
So, as a rye whiskey, how would you grade this, gentlemen?
That is again. That is rye. That's what you expect. I have a guess as what that is. I'm gonna give that. For being a blatant rye, I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I like it for being blatantly hardcore rye. That just is a hardcore rye, and that's what you expect. I wouldn't do much else with it, but drink it neat. And I'm gonna give it 3.5.
Okay.
Don't disagree. 3.75.
Oh, you're giving 3.75
Yep.
as a rye. Now, as a whiskey,
3 1/4.
3 1/4. Tony G.
3 1/4. Yeah.
3 1/4. All right. Now, as a brown spirit,
That
Or a cask.
Cascade spirit.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank
I'll
you.
go 2.75.
2.75.
I have a guess is what this is.
That's definitely not in the realm of what you would expect from cask. I'd say 2.5.
2.5. And the shelving, gentlemen.
Middle. I'm gonna be middle on most of these.
I want to say middle, but I'd probably go bottom.
Okay.
Is that
What do you think it is, T?
the Bulleit?
That is Crown Royal Rye.
That's Crown. Okay. I
Crown
would say
Royal Rye. Now,
between the Bulleit and the Crown, I'm like the Crown and the Bulleit to me are like blatant ryes.
as a rye, I'm going to give it 3 stars. As a whiskey, I'm going to give it 2.75. As a cask-aged spirit, I'm giving it 2. And it is definitively bottom shelf for me. So, and also the Pendleton, I don't believe I
Honestly,
actually
and that
did
one did
review.
kind of float between
Good.
my bottom and middle when I had a bottle of it.
Well,
It was good sipping whiskey.
we know where it'll sit with the King of Extreme anyways. So, we move on to Whiskey G.
G-Unit.
G Unit. Boy, that dated ourselves a little bit,
Yeah,
didn't it?
Sure
Woo. Boy, that's thick.
It is thick. And it's not overly rye though. It's there on the end, but it's sweet and then rye.
Super sweet.
Yeah. What was my note before on this one? Yeah, dry.
Dry finish.
Yeah, it's still very dry.
What would you give this as a rye whiskey?
As a
sir?
rye, 3.
3 stars as a rye. Tony G?
3.25.
3.25 as a rye. Now, as a whiskey, gentlemen, how would you rate this? This is one I've been curious about.
Actually, as to me, it just doesn't seem like that much of a rye to me. It's hard to categorize this, but I do like it.
So, as a whiskey,
As a whiskey, I'd go. I want to say 3.5, but I'm gonna go 3.25.
325.
It tastes specifically like whiskey. Like this is what you expect, regardless of what kind. This tastes like whiskey, but I'm gonna just say 3.
3. All right.
Yeah.
As a cask aged spirit.
I'd probably keep it right in there in that same realm. I'll be generous, give it a 3.25. Is that
3.25?
I'm gonna stay with 3.
All right, and the shelving.
Bottom to middle.
Bottom.
All right, the whiskey that you guys just reviewed, but we're not all that impressed with, was Jack Daniels Single Barrel Rye.
Okay.
This was the one I thought was actually going to run away with it, but hey, that's why we're doing this blind, folks, so we actually know. So this, as a rye, I'm going to rate it very well. I'm going to give it 3.5 as a rye.
Okay.
As a whiskey, I'm going to stick with 3.5 because it's a fine whiskey. I mean, as a brown spirit, I'm going to go 3.25 because I could cocktail this. I could mix it. I generally would drink this on the rocks.
No, I would not touch that on the rocks.
Really? Well, we will have to have
I think on the rocks might open it up.
We will have to have a second look on this at a later time. And this
That dry finish might go away.
That's true.
And as much as I hate to agree with the chicken, most of my Jack Daniels does sit on the bottom shelf. So this will be going right back next to some of his other brothers from that distillery. So, Jack Daniels Single Barrel Rye. We move onward, folks. So, that was G. Now we move on to F. Let me double check my notes here. Okay. This is the one that was just utterly rye.
Yeah, I put down slight honey, rye heavy.
That's the most powerful rye of it.
As a rye whiskey, how would you grade this, gentlemen?
3.75.
Yeah, again, like with the Crown, this is very rye. So I have a feeling this is the Bulleit. So I'm gonna go 3 and actually 3.75.
3.75 is a rye.
It does not lie to you about what it is. You want rye, that is about as rye as it gets. So that is 3.75.
All right. As a whiskey.
3.5.
3.5 is a whiskey. It is a fine whiskey. Grainy, but it's a good whiskey.
It is.
I'll stick with 3 on a whiskey scale.
All right. Cask aged spirits.
I'll keep it right there at 3.5.
3.5. Chicken likes this one.
I'm gonna be harsh on this one. I don't know why, but 2.25 is what comes to mind.
2.25 as a cask aged spirit. And shelve it. Boy, you're all over the place on this one.
I know. Middle.
Middle?
Yeah.
Easily middle. Potentially could lurk towards the top.
Oh, wow. All right. So this whiskey that we have been reviewing, let's see if I can find it. There we go. WhistlePig Piggyback.
That's
6-year
the
rye.
piggyback.
That's
Really?
the 6-year rye. The cheapest on the WhistlePig line.
Really?
Actually impressed more than its 10-year. Which, it impressed to me as a rye, 4.25.
Which was the 10?
The first one. It was J. So actually grab J.
I gave Jay terrible scores.
Yeah, so grab J and F and compare the noses real quick. Yeah, J is just a lot more
Oil.
ethanol strong.
And oily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, for the WhistlePig brand, I would definitely go for the 6-year.
Yeah, 6 over the 10.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Definitely.
So shocking. So as a whiskey, I'm gonna give it 3.25. As a cask aged spirit, for a 6-year, it's spectacular. Any whiskey aged 6 years, that's good.
That surprises me.
I'm gonna stick with 3 on it. So it's a 4-star rye, kind of 3.2, 3-star for everything else.
Okay.
But yeah, good job here, WhistlePig. And this is actually one of the first ones of all Vermont rye. So this has no Canadian rye in it.
Okay. Maybe that's a reason for the difference.
It might be. It might be.
Wow.
All right, we move on to E.
E.
All right. What did I write down for
yeah,
E? I put smooth, but very complex. is what I wrote down.
I originally guessed that this was the Crown Royal, but it's a lot more. It starts and finishes as a rye, but it's a lot softer than what we just tasted.
Yeah,
It's very subtle.
there's a slight butterness. but
Yeah,
not
slight buttery,
overwhelming.
Slight butter. There's a slight mint. There's a little crisp. It's just
Yeah,
that's what I like.
It's a
this
good
There's
blend of all
So
that.
It's
many
just in the
things
middle of
going
it,
on.
yes.
It reminds me of a Scotch because you're like, oh, what's next? And trying to think of the next thing you're gonna have hit your
It
palate.
doesn't explode or dissipate at any point.
You're right.
It's nice the whole way through.
There's points it reminds you of a bourbon, points it reminds you of a Scotch. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lovely little tour of the world of whiskey. So as a rye whiskey, how would you rate this one,
As
gentlemen?
a rye, 3 1/4.
3 1/4.
It didn't impress me as a rye.
I don't know. I kind of like this one as a rye. I'm would be a lot more generous here. I think it's 4.
4-star rye. God
I don't know
dang.
why that one just sticks
Okay.
out to me.
As a whiskey,
That's where I start changing it because I think it's a 3.75, maybe a 4. Fuck it, I'm giving something a 4.
Wow, as a whiskey,
I love it.
Hang on. I'll give that 3.5.
3.5
Yeah,
as a whiskey.
3.5.
All right. As a cask-aged spirit,
I'd keep it right there as a 4.
he likes this stuff.
I do.
I think this was aged very nicely. It's very potent but mellow.
Mm-hmm.
Finish is nice. I think they found the right amount of aging for this one. So I'll split the difference between the two, 3.75.
Okay. And shelving,
Middle.
middle.
Yeah,
You're torn between middle and top, aren't you?
if I was gonna put out of all of them so far, this would probably be the one I would put to the top the most, but still middle.
It's close. To
Okay.
top. I agree.
Do you want to guess what it is?
Is this the Bulleit?
It is, Tony.
Air.
Bulleit Rye was what we just reviewed there, and so you like it way more as a whiskey than you do as a rye, quite clearly, and you
Yep.
like it more as a rye than you do as a whiskey, which is quite fascinating.
It's still pretty close between the two.
Good
That's-
luck getting me to get these two to agree on something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you said we would agree tonight.
we
have
got
to.
to, so we'll see what happens.
Clean the palate.
So as a rye whiskey, I'm gonna give basically, guys, from rye to whiskey to cask aged spirit, I'm grading them all 3.75. It's 3.75 the whole way through.
Fair.
It's just a fine whiskey, no matter how you really want to measure it. Is there better ones in the world? Sure. But for what you're gonna spend, you're getting a tremendous value.
Yeah, I would
with
agree.
the Bulleit, anything within the Bulleit brand, really. So this one would definitively be a middle shelf whiskey for me as well. So we move on to D.
D.
My bad.
D. I put buttery.
Yeah, I just had buttery rye with.
Oh, and mint. I think it.
Mm.
Oh, is that mint? I don't know what I wrote at the end there, but
Like it's
definitely-
trying to be minty.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, this to me is the rye comparison of that Angel's Envy bourbon. Was not at all what I was expecting. I mean, there's a tone of rye there, but yeah, it's still very buttery and minty.
Yeah.
Just it surprises me. It's very interesting.
There's something in there that I'm smelling that I can't pick out. But so as a rye whiskey, how would you grade this one, gentlemen?
2.75.
2.75 is a rye. Tony G?
I'm gonna go 3.25.
3.25. All right, we got some disparate opinions here on rye. As a whiskey,
2.5.
2.5. You are not liking this one.
No.
As a whiskey, Tony?
I'm actually gonna give it. I'm gonna stick with 3 1/4 because you definitely know it's whiskey, and it does have a few different notes that you would expect not out of a rye. So it kind of touches on some different bases. So it's a little more well-rounded. So I'm gonna give it 3.25 in a whiskey.
as a cask-aged spirit.
2.5.
2.5.
I could see this being something specific to somebody. Like this could be somebody's favorite because it's a very specific flavor.
That's a niche.
So somebody might have a niche for
I bet
this.
Germs would love this.
Yeah.
So just for that reason, I might give it a better grade on that of a 3.
Okay.
Because there's somebody out there that's really going to like this. It just doesn't fit me.
As for shelving, gentlemen.
Bottom in the middle.
Bottom.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, the whiskey that you just reviewed was Jack Daniels Straight Rye. So
You know, funny you say that though, because Germs did not like that one.
no. And what's funny is you were consistent, more or less consistent in your reviews of Jack Daniels this evening. You weren't a big fan of the single barrel. You were even less of a fan of the standard.
Yeah.
So
Which one was the single barrel? Was that H?
I believe. Let me check my
That
notes.
was G.
I want to compare now.
G was the yep. So let's take.
This one here. This is the single barrel Jack Daniels Rye.
D and G. So let's compare G and D here for a second. This one's a lot smoother nose.
Yeah.
So, all right, my review on Jack Daniels Standard Rye. As a rye, I'm going to give it 3 stars because they're trying. As a whiskey, I'm going to give it 2.75, and as a cask-aged spirit, I'm going to come back to 3. Because like you said, this is something that could be somebody's favorite in the world, just not me. Just not. It's not my bag, baby.
Yeah.
To, quote Austin Powers, if you will. So, we move on to Whiskey C.
Okay.
This is the watered down.
Yeah, this was the bland one, right?
That was the one that you couldn't quite, the
there's no
smell was
nose.
weird and funky.
And there's hardly any taste there. It's very sweet for what taste is there. Yeah. As a rye, I'm gonna say that's a 2.25.
2.25. Damn.
I won't go that harsh, but I'm close. 2.5.
2.5 as a rye. I'm gonna be a little nicer than you guys and give it 2.75, but not by a lot. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I shouldn't even be grading yet.
Fair.
As a whiskey, gentlemen.
So whiskey, I'll go 2.5. 2.75.
I'm sticking 2.5. I'm not impressed with it. It's
I am not impressed by your performance.
Exactly.
I'll agree with you on this one. What the fuck?
Yeah.
As a cask-aged spirit.
2. I'm sorry, that's just
2.
really weak.
I might go lower, just to be provocative.
Go for
like
it.
a 1.75.
That's exactly what I was going to give it.
Wow.
Because the spirit we're currently reviewing is Canadian Club 100% Rye.
That's not 100% rye.
No.
Well, that's
Their
what
version.
That's what it says on the bottle. See, it says it right there. 100% sign.
Yeah,
rye.
I don't. Okay.
So, is there any question as to what shelf this sits
This
on?
bottom.
Yep, this will be. Now, I was shocked. I thought first time I tried this, I thought Canadian Club was going to be awful.
Yeah.
And when you're grading it on that scale, it way surpassed. Like I
When
thought
you
it was
have
gonna be bad.
9 others to compare it to.
Yeah,
that is
down
very
this
weak.
line, that one is god awful, but
The bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
weak.
Well, hey, Canadian Club. Hey, folks, the K.O.E. Nation, we are honest here. So, yeah, I'm going to agree with you. This is bottom shelf. I'm going to be offering this as a well drink for folks when
There
they
you
come
go.
over for entertainment.
That's a good one.
So-
for that.
We move on to B.
B,
This one-
I put good notes on.
I see. Yeah, this was the floral minty one that we really liked at the beginning. And yep, it's right there.
Warm on the tongue, but not burn. It just got a warm.
There's a warmth, and yeah,
This would be a good cold weather drink.
Again, it really kind of makes your tongue pop with a freshness,
Yeah.
and I really like that.
Mhm.
I really like that one. I do.
I'm going to be all over the place in my scoring for this one. just so you
Yeah,
know.
I am too, a little bit.
All right, as a rye, how would you rate this one, sir?
directly as a rye, I'm not super impressed. I think I'm going to be all over the place with it too. It's not a terrible rye. Oh, 3 1/4.
3
I'll
1/4.
be generous.
Okay.
As a rye, I'm impressed that it's as buttery and minty, but still has that floral grassiness. So I'm impressed they were able to pack that much into it while still being fairly subtle. I'm going to give it a 4.
4 is a rye.
Yeah.
Damn. As a rye, I'm gonna give this 3 1/2. I like it, but like it's all over the place with its palate to the point where a rye purist I could see being like, well, this doesn't taste like bread in my mouth. What the hell? So I'm gonna stick with 3 1/2. As a whiskey.
Honestly, as a whiskey, 2.75.
Really?
Yep.
Jesus, okay.
Yeah.
I've rather enjoyed this as a whiskey, actually. I'm going to go 3 1/2.
3 1/2.
I'm backwards on you guys, I guess.
Okay, as a whiskey, I'm gonna stick with my 3 1/2 as well. It's a good whiskey. Apparently you don't think so. As a cask-aged spirit.
That's where there's a lot of thought.
For me, again, it comes back to all the different ways they were able to incorporate flavors. And I think that's impressive, and I think they found about the right age statement. Maybe go a little bit longer to get that more cask strength flavor if they could. Maybe not water it down so much, but I'm still going to give it 3.25.
3.25 as a cask-aged.
I agree a little bit. There could be more there, and I get the watered down sentiment, but I think that, I don't know, it feels like that's almost on purpose to keep you from burning out on it. I'm going to go, I really think most people would really enjoy this. I'm going to go 3.75.
3.75. To me, as a cask-aged spirit, this really delivers for me. I could do some cocktailing with this.
Yeah.
It'll give an interesting palate experience.
Yeah.
I'm giving it 4 stars as a cask-aged spirit. Yeah, this one impresses in that regard. So, shelving, gentlemen.
Middle to top. It's tough.
Ooh, I'm going to be closer to chicken here. And the whiskey we just reviewed, High West Rendezvous Rye.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good about this, so I wanted to include it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a distillery not everybody knows about, but the High West Distillery puts out some pretty good stuff. So I've heard nothing but good about it.
It's out of Utah, isn't it?
Yeah, Park City, Utah.
It's all over the
good call there.
It's all over the place in our ratings.
46% alcohol by volume. So.
Wow, really that high?
Yeah. So there you go.
Didn't seem like it.
No.
No.
Super smooth.
It went down like a 40.
Hence why I said it is almost watered down on purpose.
Wow. All right, we move on to A.
Okay.
Luckily, nobody can remember what all the whiskeys were, so they don't even know what this is.
This is the hot tamale one, I remember.
I didn't get that. I got a slight burn, but yet was smooth.
Yeah, burn with some cinnamon, but it doesn't really.
Yeah.
It's not whiskey burn.
Like, for me, this is if you took the cinnamon out of the fireball and dumped it into, like, the Bulleit Rye. Which, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I actually like that. I think it's a good combination. I think it's a good flavor.
Interesting.
I like it.
So, as a rye whiskey, how would you grade this?
As a rye, I'm going to give that a 3.75.
Second time around, I get the cinnamon. I feel the burn more than I did the first time.
We're acclimatized to it now.
Right. I still think it's a good rye. 3.5.
3.5. I'm gonna give it 3 as a rye. It's a decent rye, but I'm just keep it at 3. As a whiskey,
3.
3 stars as a whiskey.
Yep.
Yeah, 3. I think 3 is fair.
Yeah, you convinced me. It's a 3-star whiskey. As a cask-aged spirit, gentlemen.
Again, this could be a specialty. I could see how somebody would really love that and crave that. For that, I'll give it 3 1/4. And honestly, I might enjoy that sometimes, depending on a meal, what you mix it with, how you enjoy it could be different. So I think, fuck it, I'm going 3.5.
I've got 3.5 as well because I think it's potent enough, but not too strong. I think there's enough flavor there. Yeah, I think they found a nice.
You could have a lot of good pairings with that, with food. There's a lot you can do.
I was gonna say this
3.5.
one I was gonna give 3, but I'm gonna kick it up to 3.2 because out of all these, this is really the only one that I would consider using in cooking.
Yeah.
Fair.
Because you could get some interesting flavors out of your meats, your vegetables, whatever you're cooking with, adding just 1 or 2 ounces of this. So, shelving, gentlemen.
Middle.
Yeah, middle.
Well, the whiskey we just reviewed was
Oh!
Knob Creek Rye.
Forgot about that
Good
one.
stuff.
Yep.
Wow.
So
Good
interesting.
job. I've liked all Nom Creeks.
Yeah, interesting
they do a great
expression.
job.
So now, gentlemen, the reason I had you leave just a little bit of chicken, you did real good there. Just tiny little bit.
Enough to get a last
So,
taste.
we need to determine
Okay.
our personal favorites and then a consensus favorite.
Okay.
So Tony's got some pretty extensive notes over here. Chicken, you got some notes.
I'm going over them, and there's a couple I'm just torn on.
The one I thought was going to be the runaway, the Jack Daniels single
Did
barrel,
not do well.
did not age well at all.
So I'm reviewing my notes and I recorded all my scores. My top 3 were B, E, and F.
Yeah, I
B.
have I, E, and
So Chicken's top 3 were
I had E.
B, E, and F, the WhistlePig 6 here. That was Chicken's top 3.
I, E, and B.
Let's see.
And in that order, it would actually be. Man, this is tough. E, I, B. For
So
me.
Bulleit would be your favorite.
Yep.
Pendleton would be your second favorite. High West would be your third favorite.
Is that right?
Yep, High West is B.
I had because on, which one was I?
Pendleton.
Pendelton, I had 4, 3.25, and 3.25. E, I had 4, 3.5, and 3.75. And B, I had 4, 2.75, and 3.25.
So yeah, you're a little all over the place there.
Which one was the 6? F?
Yep, F.
See, and that one's right up there, but not
That
quite.
one I had like 3.75.
Yeah,
3.5.
it was close, but not quite.
Yep.
So I'll start setting some whisk guys back up
All
here
right,
for us
all
to.
right.
So I think we can pretty much determine that Crown Royal Rye is not going to be in one of the. Okay, we've decided that.
That one's out. That one's out.
Yep. So.
You don't want to throw the WhistlePig 10?
Well, I don't want to shatter a bottle in Chicken's garage.
Hey, if you do get a shooter, it comes in a glass shooter. Crown Royal was a plastic.
Yep, that is one thing, nice thing though. So we'll put them all up here just for the sake of the shits and giggles.
I think it's safe to take away both the Jacks and the Canadian.
Okay, so these two.
Unless
did not make
anybody
it.
has any argument.
Nope. Jack,
No arguments.
WhistlePig's out, except for the 6-year.
Yes.
So
Anything left down there?
let me make up. Don't look like it. No.
Nope, 3, 4, 5, and there's 5 left. So
So
out
my
of the 5, these are the top of the.
These are the
five.
5. These are the top 5 out of our 10. So we've eliminated 5 immediately. We're down to Pendleton, High West Rendezvous Rye, Knob Creek Rye, WhistlePig 6-year, Bulleit. Now, guys, I know you're going to hate me a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and make an elimination here.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the Knob Creek Rye from top contention unless anybody has any reason to.
what letter was Knob Creek again?
A.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
It's close. It's close.
It's close.
I had it at 3.75, 3, and 3.5, so it was kind of right across the board. So that's fair.
All right. So we're down.
It was close in taste, but it was run of the mill for the rest.
Now, Chicken, what is your personal favorite out of all of these? Out of what's left, your personal favorite?
Reviewing my notes and just I don't know, afterwards, all 4 of them, of course. I don't know. This is tough. I'm reviewing my notes, so what I got. Which one was E?
E was the Bulleit.
Yep.
So the Bulleit got my highest rating. I
Yeah.
gave it 2 4s and then a 3 something. I can't read my
I think you almost
scribbles.
put it on top shelf, too.
I wanted to put it on top shelf, so that's my top is Bulleit.
Okay. Well, if I may, before we continue any further, Chicken, we were not here for your birthday when that went down not too
Right.
long ago. It was not able to be achieved or anything to happen. So there was also an ulterior motive to all of this rye reviewing, and that is, Chicken, happy birthday, good sir.
Thanks, big guy.
We wanted to find out what was your favorite rye out of all of this, and there you go.
Turns out,
So, and Tony, that was also your favorite.
unsurprisingly, the one that I'd had the most familiarity with was that one, that and the Crown, which didn't stand out as much as I thought it would on the second tasting this time around. But yeah, again, the Bulleit had 4, 3.5, and 3.75. It kind of touches on all those things you expect, and it's a good rye. That's a solid rye. That's a good brand of rye. If you're looking to introduce yourself, you might ease into it, but that is a solid choice. My second one was was it the Pendelton was
I think it was the Pendleton. Like, we all had pretty high marks for Pendleton.
Yeah, and I was 4, 3.25, and 3.25, and
I had 3 5 3 5 3 7 5.
so it's right up there too.
Yeah, and
That
I'll be honest,
surprised me.
my personal favorite through all of this, which shocked the hell out of me, was the Pendleton Rye.
See?
That was my personal favorite through it all. So both of you really liked Bulleit Rye. That's the
Good
takeaway.
one.
I love Pendleton. Bulleit was
Pendleton's
great
up there
too. So now WhistlePig 6-year, really good. This one cost about $50, so not
Which
a bad.
number was that?
WhistlePig 6-year,
That was F.
F.
Okay.
I gave it 375 3535.
This is not a bad one?
Same scores I gave it Penalty.
Yeah.
But so, is there any objection to me removing it from the consensus
No,
favorites?
it's close there for me.
I have it
Not
tied
quite.
with Pendleton, but it's not on any of our tops, so I don't
It's
guess.
better than the
Okay. So then it comes down Pendleton Rye, High West, or Bulleit Rye, Pendleton Rye, High West Rendezvous Rye as the consensus favorites.
Yeah,
I-
those are my 3. Yeah.
So, gentlemen, each of you, state your case for why you think your whiskey of choice should be the consensus rye.
Oh, well,
Yes.
I would just run through. Obviously, Tony and I agree on the
Yeah.
Bulleit being number 1. I think that's pretty. Pendleton's a very, very close second to me, and
Yeah.
I think the High West surprisingly was very compelling,
Smooth.
intriguing.
I was about to say,
smooth.
since we're down to
Um,
it, everybody pull out your B, your E, and your I. B is High West, E is
Got it.
Bulleit, and I is Pendleton.
B.
Yep. Those are the 3 that I had sitting out.
It's
Yep.
E and I.
All right.
Okay. So, let's go through them, all 3 of them,
Okay.
because let's let the tongues decide. It's kind of like Morgan Freeman. Let the dog decide.
Start with B.
Yep, start with B. That's lovely.
Grassy, buttery, sweet. Yeah, that's a really nice rye. It's
E?
not overwhelming.
E is Bulleit Rye.
Yeah.
Boy, that's pretty
just
good.
That's just good.
And then I is the Pendleton.
It's a good one to finish on.
Boy, howdy, is it?
Yeah. It's good. Yeah, a really nice way to finish. It depends on the mood that I'm in.
I was about to say, all that this taste test did was bring High West higher up the
It
ranks.
kinda did.
Damn it.
Yeah.
It's tough.
That makes it tough.
It is a nice way to finish.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. So,
I got 1, 2, 3.
okay. Tony, how do you number these, our top 3 contenders?
1, 3, 2.
1, 3, 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me give.
So I moved high west up 1. Tony, you didn't move?
It's close to being interchangeable, but yep, I'll stick with 3 there.
So yeah, I can't really eliminate either one of these because you guys both have them as number 2s.
Yeah.
Hang on. Give me one moment here because I'm going to be the tiebreaker here. God damn, that's good. Lord Almighty, that's really good.
Boy, howdy.
Fuck me running, those are all really good.
Yeah.
Folks, I really have no choice but to agree with my esteemed colleagues here. The winner of the blind taste test, Bulleit Rye. My God, you competed against all the heavyweights of your class and you left them all in your wake. You left them all in the dust. My word. And Tony's going to begin his rye blending immediately. So, folks, thank you for joining us in this deep, deep scientific exploration. I was about to say, let us know how that tastes before we let the people go. Yeah, Tony's just, oh boy.
Master blender.
You can see what he's doing.
Yeah, master blender, that's it. Folks, God almighty, this has been quite a rye whiskey review. We've gone through the flights. I was about to say, you can finish them off now, chicken. Go for it. Folks, wherever you are, raise your glass. This has been a very, very fun time with a couple of good compadres. Folks, please like, share, subscribe to K.O.E. Nation. Dog
Big
and Chicken.
Buck and Entertainment.
Yep, Big Buck and Dog and Chicken Show. Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. That's not as good as you thought it would be, did you?
I didn't say it was going to be good.
Okay, it's something. So, folks,
Different.
thank you for joining us. Thank you if you're still watching us this far. Please, stick around for all the crazy content that's coming down the pike. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partners. The one, the only,
Chicken.
and the one, the only,
Tony, Brown Spirit Blending Master G.
Catch you later, folks.
Love you. Bye.